28 years later, the Bone Temple. Yes, that's right. For some reason, we are getting a sequel to 28 years later very soon after the one came out. They filmed these kind of back to back. It's not Danny Boyle doing the directing this time around. It is Nia DaCosta, though this is still a script that was created by Alex Garland. If you've been following my channel recently, you probably know that my favorite film of 2025 was 28 Years Later. That film did a lot for me. I loved everything about the way it was filmed. I loved how it was edited. I think this story is one of the more interesting examples of reimagining a coming-of-age tale in a world that's broken. It really mirrors the world we live in today, but through the lens of Danny Boyle playing with zombies. So I was really excited for this film. Like, come on. We're still doing 28 Years Later stuff. That's really exciting. They clearly wanted to play in this world. They clearly had ideas. Alex Garland clearly had ideas. This time around, he wanted to talk about, like, the role of God in a broken society, which I think is really interesting. And let's just do a smaller scale story and see what happens. This movie's amazing. I genuinely think this movie is fascinating and intriguing and is doing some very specific things in a genre that a lot of people are familiar with that maybe you haven't seen. This is not for the faint of heart. I think this one, maybe even more than the first movie, is graphic. There's a lot more nudity. There is a lot more blood and dismemberment and cutting and flesh being torn off, and not just from zombies. Like, it is about humanity's downfall in this broken world and how we hate each other and are going to destroy each other. I really respond to that. I just think this movie looks gorgeous. And clearly, where we're filming, is it Ireland where they're filming? I'm not sure specifically where they're filming this stuff, but it's up there in that part of the world. You just bring front a lot of the most important colors of the blues and the greens, make them pop on camera, and then have everybody look very distinctive in this world that's just surrounded by color, which I think is kind of hard to do. I don't know if every director would be comfortable enough to make the sky look so vibrant, the white of the bones in the Bone Temple look so vibrant, and then have your characters stick out in that world as well. Because half this cast is like covered in iodine or a tracksuit, all of your characters just pop on screen, but they're also in this really vibrant world. So while it's a genre and a world you're familiar with in terms of a zombie story, they look so different compared to other people in this genre, you know? Because we're so used to seeing like this be washed out and colorless, and look how bleak and desperate the world has gotten. We got like 7 people in like bright green and red tracksuits. We got Ray Fiennes looking insane. It's impressive. And part of me does want to know what Danny Boyle would have done with this script. I think there is some specific camera work that is chosen where we could have seen like the rig he built for the first movie in effect. Maybe like some stuff with Samson when he's running. But I have avidly defended Nia DaCosta as a director for a very long time. I like her work on Candyman. I liked her work in The Marvels. I'm a little mixed on Hedda, but I don't think the direction is what's wrong with that movie. And here's the same thing. She is just comfortable in this place. She knows exactly how to make this work for the script. She knows exactly the tone to go for. She's not afraid to shy away from some insane looking work. You gotta respect it, you know? I know she's not a director for everyone, and I don't know why. I think she's one of like the best ones we have working today. But the comfortability in just exploring the ripping out of a spine, the tearing off of human flesh, and the intimate crowd moments of people realizing the world they're a part of might actually not be the one they thought it was. She could do all of it, and I think she does it all really well. And you just love to see that. So the first movie was about this kid named Spike, played by Alfie Williams. He was growing up in like this town that was kind of separated from the rest of the land. Him and his father would like go out on hunts, and it's about growing up in a world that maybe is lying to you about what it is. Well, Spike, at the end of that last movie, He decided he was going to go out on his own. He doesn't need his father. He's going to go do things for himself. Crosses the group of the Jimmies. And the Jimmies are led by Jack O'Connell. He plays Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal. And it is modeled after a TV personality from the UK. We don't have to get into it. There's a lot of stuff about him that is very much why Alex Garland said, let's use this guy. This is a group of like 7 people. And Jack O'Connell plays the main one. Essentially, he is like some guy who travels and wanders around the land. He seeks people and he like does acts towards them that could range from very simple murder to disgusting and horrid murder, all for the sake of his father, Old Nick. And Old Nick is a metaphor for Satan in this aspect. And I think that's really interesting. The 2 storylines we are playing with in this movie, they go to like 2 different things. Is man inherently good or is man inherently bad? And is man inherently for science or is man inherently for religion? And the Jimmies represent religion. This is a world that has been destroyed. It is an act of God or an act of Satan. So they are Satanists that worship this thing. And they travel around trying to please their unwavering god of darkness. All the stuff of the Jimmies, it could easily be annoying as fuck. But why it really works is that you are just uncomfortable the whole time. You are disgusted by the actions they are taking. You want to see them all get hurt and destroyed. They are wearing these really disgusting tracksuits and wigs, and you just want them to fail. And I think that really works because you have a character like Dr. Kelson in Ray Fiennes, who you want to see succeed. Ray Fiennes in this movie is doing stuff I didn't know he was capable of doing. There is such like a calm, manic energy to everything he's about. Half his story is him trying to understand why Samson, one of like the alpha virus guys in the area, is comfortable around him. And the other part is like him dancing and listening to records. And you're like, hell yeah, dude. He gets naked. He does some weird dances. Ray Fiennes moves his body in this movie in ways I didn't think he was capable of doing. A man of his age doing some of the things that he is doing? My God. It's unbelievable. And that is the dedication to this material. And you could only do that when you have such committed actors. And I know the first movie was like Alfie's story, like his tale of Spike going on this journey. But this movie is really about Kelson and Jimmy Crystal. And man, you have 2 guys I love to see. Ray Fiennes committed to this bit. He will wear this makeup. He will do the acts. He will drug his companion and try to make him feel better. And then Jimmy, who is just, I am a delusional god and these are my worshipers and I'm going to go on this journey and they're going to follow me. You would have people in this world act like that. This is a kid who we saw in the first movie. He was in church when the world fell apart. So he's like, of course, God let this happen. So of course, Satan's the one I have to worship. I think that's brilliant. And the best scene in the movie, in my opinion, is when these 2 characters finally meet and they're just like sitting down and talking about, well, isn't it weird that this is what happened and how our paths cross this way? It's really unbelievable stuff. And that's not to say the supporting cast isn't good. Alfie Williams returns. He's one of the few main returning characters from the first movie. Just really comfortable in this world now. He is reluctantly thrown into the world of the Jimmies, uncomfortable by every single action they are taking. I like this kid a lot. He doesn't get the most to do or have like the biggest arc in this movie, but it's not his movie. This is the movie of the other characters in the world around him. And that's kind of cool to see that transition where he's like, we saw his journey to get here, now he has to watch as this stuff is happening. I think that's really good. Erin Kellyman plays one of the other Jimmies. There's a bunch of them. We don't have to get into every single Jimmy, but she's kind of, I guess, like the second focused Jimmy as opposed from Spike and, Jack O'Connell's one. I like her. She's really good. I really hope she can find like a big role to sink her teeth into. This gets really close because this is a really compelling performance. I like that a lot. And then we have to shout out the guy that plays Samson, Chi Lewis Perry. That is somehow one of the central focuses as well. We spend a lot of time with Samson. And we see a lot of the, big Samson that's hanging between his legs. And I'm just like, what other screenwriter would be like, we have to spend the focus on this guy? He would just be a plot point. He wouldn't be a character, but we make him a character. Like, there's a good maybe 10 minutes of this movie that are spent on close-up of Samson, his eyes looking up to the sky, his world, like, starting to figure stuff out around him. Truly not expecting half the stuff they do with this guy. There are some very, very cool moments with him. One in particular that I don't want to spoil too much, but it's kind of like a huge, huge revelation within the movie. And suddenly, everything changes. Like, this entire thing changes. There's two moments of him in particular that do that. The first one is mind-boggling, and the second one is just fucking gnarly, man. This movie gets really gnarly too. Like, the first one had some great action. This goes above and beyond because there are two sequences in particular. One that's not really action, but it's just hardcore, heavy metal, intense crap. One of Samson that is just, yeah, let's fucking go. Let's kill these motherfuckers. This is sick as fuck. It's heavy metal bullshit, man. It's awesome. And then there's a sequence towards the end, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, that may be one of the best sequences put to film in years. It is unbelievable. I will just say it involves an Iron Maiden song and Ray Fiennes, and you are sitting in this theater just going, holy shit, what are we doing? Are we just having a great time with some great fucking music? God, the music in this movie is amazing. There's so much good stuff. I said Iron Maiden. There's so many other ones I don't want to spoil. There is some Duran Duran, which I'm just like, hell yeah, man. I love Duran Duran. It's badass. And the first one was so badass. And this one is quieter. It is a quieter movie. It's got like 3 main characters and then like a couple supporting characters. 3 main set pieces. And then woods. But it just is graphic and intense and going for these beats. I don't know if there's like a deeper emotional depth because, one, we want to see the Jimmies get their comeuppance. They're terrible people and we don't really have like an invested interest in them succeeding. And I think the stuff with Dr. Kelson is just like, yeah, we're watching a scientist at work. So that's kind of cool. And I think for the most part, there's this really cool like back and forth about what is man's place in this world now that God has left it, which is kind of interesting. You have the Jimmies that think, you know, this is Satan. Satan is here. He's here to bring us his children to slaughter and give sacrifices to. And you have Kelson who's like, there's nothing left. This is what remains. What we do with it is what's important. And just going back and forth between that is enough of a cinematic idea or a theatrical idea that you can explore it on film. It's not stupid. It's not like, ooh, this doesn't need to be discussed. It works. It is satisfying, and it gives you some intense stuff. Nia DaCosta, I know we talked about her a little bit already. I just want to say again, she gets it. I think she knows exactly how to film these sequences, exactly how to make them look good. She feels like she gets Danny Boyle's sensibility. Now, I don't know too much about her relationship with Danny Boyle or Alex Garland, but she could easily fit into this world. Like, there is something to say where you look back on a couple other Danny Boyle movies. I think she could easily slot into the director position. If she is, you know, renowned or at that level of Boyle, maybe not. But she's comfortable. And I think that is very apparent in here. It doesn't reach some of the heights of the first movie, but it's also not trying to reach those heights. It goes to different places and hits those in higher regards in some aspects. Holy shit. I also just want to say, because I haven't mentioned it in the review and I'm going back and looking at this, Jack O'Connell is freaking phenomenal. I think he is wonderful in this movie. He's got creepy teeth, a very creepy vibe. He is a central antagonist that has kind of like earned a place in the pantheon of creepy, disgusting antagonists in film. I love his work here. I think he's having an incredible run, and this is phenomenal. Jimmy Crystal is crazy. He makes this work so well. I love everything he's doing with his voice and aesthetic. This was maybe one of my most anticipated films of the year because I responded so much to the first one, and I know we are very early on into 2026, but just thinking about key selective moments I saw in this movie, certain uses of dialogue and energy being put forward with the needle drops and the movements of some of the actors, it's going to be hard for me to consider other movies hitting some highs that this one does. I think we're going to see it, and I don't know where this is going to rank at like the end of the year, but this is how you do it. I think somehow this universe has created some very iconic characters that are going to stand the test of time. There are characters you can pick out from silhouettes. You can get the Jimmies from a silhouette, Dr. Kelson from a silhouette, Samson from a silhouette, and I think that's really cool. Now, Sony did greenlight the third movie in this planned trilogy. This movie does end with enough of a tease where we could explore the third movie. If we never got that movie, though we are apparently getting it, I am comfortable with where this ends up because it goes to the basic theme that Danny Boyle, Nia DaCosta, and the entire team, for some reason, Alex Garland too, is trying to say about this universe, and that is humanity perseveres and good outweighs bad. It's so weird to say that about an Alex Garland script where there's actually like a hopeful ending, but that is the case. This movie says like, yeah, we just spent about 90 minutes with these fucking assholes killing people and being terrible and this kid being traumatized for life. But at the end of the day, there are good people out there who want to help you, who want to take care of you, who are going to do right by you. And you just have to find them and they will find you and everything will be okay. The world will persevere. Maybe God isn't here, but you have each other. And I'm like, holy shit, Alex Garland said that? Look, man, it's rock and roll. It's heavy metal. It is butchering people, slaughtering people to some good music, some really cool camera tricks and camera movements. This is how you do elevated horror, and I'm glad it exists, and I'm so happy that we are getting the final movie in this planned trilogy. This is badass. The Bone Temple rules. Just the concept of a Bone Temple rules. Just the concept of Ralph Fiennes and a big zombie hanging out and dancing is freaking sick. This is what I want to see. I'm glad we got to see it. This is great. Is it the best movie of the year so far? I would argue. Will it make my #1 spot by December? That's another question. So, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.